Hey guys, so the other day I heard a pretty outrageous claim about an ankle sprain. So ankle sprains are kind of a passion of mine, just because I had terrible ankles through high school and had been dealing with a lot of ankle sprains. There's a lot of misinformation about ankle sprains, and then there's a lot of outdated information. The claim that I heard the other day is that we need to rest an ankle or else they're going to have scar tissue the rest of their life. That is quite literally the exact opposite of what is going to happen with an ankle. So the classic saying was that we are going to rice things. We're going to rest it, ice it, compress it, and elevate it. And the doctor that actually came up with that slogan has actually came out and denounced it and said that it's no longer the right thing to do, because we know that rest, especially if it is an ankle sprain. So we're talking about things that are sprains and strains, not broken bones. All right. So when we rest things, basically we are already giving it time to immobilize a little bit more, scar tissue to build up in those places, so that it's not moving correctly. When we ice things, we're slowing down that healing process, slowing down the inflammation that is necessary and good for injuries. When we compress things, again, we're slowing down the ability for the inflammation to get into those tissues that are either strained or sprained. Same with the elevation thing. So let's seriously stop the nonsense. Stop ricing things if it is not broken. Okay, stop it. All right. Now the next thing that we have to do, when we have somebody that sprains their ankle, immediately we want to start movement. We want to start slowly, progressively loading those tissues, right? Tissues don't respond unless you actually give them resistance or load in a controlled manner so that they start adapting and getting better and stronger and healing the right way, right? So we came up with a progression for an ankle sprain, right? So all these steps, they don't have to be followed exactly in order, and they can be skipped along the way. But one of the first things that we're doing with that ankle is we're just getting generalized movement right away. So the first one we're going to do is ABCs. So I'm going to grab the camera, and Jake here, he's our intern. Say hi, Jake. This is his first live video at Midwest Movement. So his first thing that we're going to do is ABCs, right? Really simple. All he's doing is drawing ABCs with his foot. He doesn't have very good handwriting, so like you can't really tell that those are the ABCs. But the point is he's getting movement in that ankle. Okay? So then we are going to move on to a banded range of motion. So he's going to grab a band. You don't have to have a band, but you can use like a belt or a strap. And all he's doing is he's just going to start adding some resistance to it. Yep, he's just moving it in general directions, just trying to get that movement. Really, it can be pretty randomized and it can be pretty just scattered ways of moving. It doesn't have to be in a general direction. The point is we just need to get it to move. It's going to help the tissues to flow better a little bit, get that inflammation to move in and out better, but also it's going to help load those tissues that are injured. The next one, and this is my favorite thing to do with an ankle, is we're going to start ankle mobilizations. By far, most of the time we are doing what we call an ankle dorsiflexion exercise, and it's immediately when people are sprain their ankles. So if I see somebody that sprained their ankle, I'm trying to get them to go into this motion as soon as possible. And I'm trying to get him to go as far forward as you can. Knees over toes. I know that might be triggering for some people that have been told never to get your knees over your toes, but we want to in this case. So we're moving as far forward as we can, okay? The next thing that we're gonna go into is single leg stance. And we're gonna progress that to an RX because single leg stance is kind of boring, right? A lot of people don't progress this fast enough. So he's just single leg stancing. One thing I like to do is what I call around the world. So he's just gonna like try to move to all the edges of his foot and like, yeah, he's trying to make a circle with his foot while keeping the whole foot in contact. Then he would do it on a RX pad or could be a pillow, something of that nature, just trying to get those tissues, get those muscles kind of, you know, stressed a little bit, loading. Good. So that's what we would do. Now we're going to start back to heel raises and progress to a single leg negatives. So one of the things that he would do, just a general heel raise, and he's just going up. He's starting to load. Again, some of these steps can be skipped based on the patient tolerance, the tolerance to the tissue, how well they're progressing. So now he's going to a single leg foot is what he was trying. It's a little hard freestanding. Okay. Next, he would go to what we call a star reach. Okay. Let's do it on the RX pad. So he's just going to stand on the RX pad with one foot and he's going to do little squats. Okay. If you notice, what he's doing with that ankle is what we did at the very beginning where we were trying to get that knee over the ankle or over the toes, right? But he's just doing it in different directions, stressing the tissues in all types of directions, okay? Again, we need to start loading these ankles or else they're just like, they're gonna build up scar tissue in the wrong direction if we just rest them all the time. Good. He needs to work on a little bit of glute control there. All right, so then the next thing, and this is something I like to skip to pretty much right away, is double leg hops. So we're going to start doing hops. So he's just going to hop. Yep. Go forward, backwards. So he's just doing single leg hops, right? Now, the biggest thing is trying to get the athlete to do this because sometimes they're a little scared. They're a little abrasive to be able to do that. Yeah. So now he's going side to side. So he's doing a really good job. Now we're going to go single leg. Yep. And we would do this on the injured ankle. I've even done this second day after ankle sprains when they're ballooned up purple because the athlete was able to tolerate it, right? Okay. Now, like one of our last progressions would be box jumps. And it's fairly, like I would start with a depth jump. So stand up on the box, Jake, and turn and face the other way. And you're just gonna step off and land on 2 feet. Yep. So we're just learning how to absorb ourselves landing on those ankles and loading the tissue, right? So then he would go a single leg. Yep. Jake was not prepared for this at all, by the way.
Forgive me.
Okay, so he's loading. He still needs to work on that glute. Anyways, all right, so then after we start loading or doing depth jumps like this, he would start doing box jumps, actually jumping onto the box. We got to learn how to fall from the box first, then we can jump up onto the box. So he's doing a really good job there. Now we would go, from there we would go into a single leg jump.
Jump off 1 foot or in on 1 foot?
Yep. This is going to be tough.
Yeah.
You did a good job. Now, next we would do skater hops or explosive change of direction. So he's just going to jump side to side. Good. Those are skater hops, right? He is loading that ankle a lot, right? Good. And then the last one is pro agility. basically being able to do the shuttle run side to side. I'm not going to make Jake do this, but so, all right. So there we go. So the point of this is we got to start moving right away. Load, 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 load. If you rest it, I promise you, you'll have more problems in the future, right? The scar tissue, because if we start working on it right away, that is a myth. That is absolutely a myth. And that just, there's no science to support that at all. So I don't know who's telling people this stuff, but stop it. Stop the nonsense. Stop writings. Start loading it. Start getting things moving right away. And I promise you those ankle injuries are gonna, one, you're gonna get back to your sport or activity faster. And two, you're gonna be able to not have reoccurring ankle injuries as much. The more that we rise or rest, the more reoccurring that ankle is gonna have of ankle sprains. It's just gonna be a cause for re-injury. So please stop the nonsense.